All right, so I hear the applause. Okay, welcome to us on Twitch. We appreciate you being here. We got a
Thanks
couple
for having me.
questions for you. Of course, we got a couple questions to have for you. First of all, I'm curious, does your love for red vine licorice come from? Explain to us where that love comes from.
Wait. Say it one more time.
Your love for red vine licorice, like the licorice or whatever.
Oh yeah.
Yes.
You know what? So I used to date a girl in high school out in New Jersey. Yeah, yeah. Her name was Bonita. She would always bring them to school all the time. And so I would always forget to eat my breakfast early in the morning. Like I always rush to school.
Right.
Um, and she would always have red vines. And so I would see her in passing, or we would always, sit with each other at lunch. And she would give me like 8 of them. So I would have all these red vines, and I would just eat them periodically,
Hmm.
and it just became a habit. It was so addictive, like to the point where I just could not resist them. So that's where the love came from.
I love it. I love it.
Yeah.
So welcome in. We're so happy to talk to you. I'm curious if someone were to ask you, who is Jay Brown? How would you describe yourself in like 15 words or less?
A humble guy who knows exactly what he wants. I know the mission that I sought out on, which is to become successful, take care of my family, take care of my kids. I'm just a guy who's destined for greatness, in my opinion. With
Yes.
hard
Well,
work and perseverance.
I agree with you. I agree with you. So before I ask you, I'm going to ask you about Babyface. But before I ask you about Babyface, because I love Babyface, I know you have a love for Babyface. And so I'm curious from you, why is Babyface your most kind of impactful person that you spoke about on your career? Why Babyface?
Because he's a timeless kind of guy. Like you can't name not one Babyface song that isn't memorable. Like it has affected someone or impacted someone in some shape or some form positively. So all of his works, at least that I've heard, and I don't know if you can attest to this, they've impacted me in such a way that they're literally embedded in my neurons. So I can sing word for word, and it just it puts you in a different place. So that's why Babyface is by far one of my favorite artists. Outside of Tank. Tank is the first.
Okay.
Babyface would be the second, and Teddy Riley would be the third, and Teddy Pendergrass would be the fourth.
Okay.
Yeah.
So we're gonna ask you about Tank. If you're gonna name like, I know it's tough because there's so many hits, but if you're gonna name like five Babyface songs that you couldn't live without, which ones come to
Oh,
mind?
that's a tough one, man.
I know that's a tough one, but yes.
That's. Ooh. Mm. We don't even talk. Yeah, it have to be that one. It have to
Okay.
be Drew Hill. Had to
Okay.
think about it. Boys to Men, End of the Road.
Yep. Yep.
Um, can't sleep at night. I toss and turn. Listen to the telephone.
Mm-hmm.
You know that one.
Yeah.
Bobby Brown.
Okay. Yeah.
Um, Whip Appeal by Babyface.
Yes. Yes.
And
That's four. Only need one more.
mm,
And so while you're thinking, like,
Tony Braxton. Tony Braxton. Um, and I can't stop thinking about
yes.
you.
Yeah.
About the
Breathe again.
way you
Breathe again.
speak. Breathe again.
Yes. I
Yeah.
mean, you can keep singing a little more if you want to.
And I can't get you out of my mind. No, he ain't gonna do that.
Where will you go? That's one of my favorites by Babyface. The whole prelude,
Oh.
interlude, and postlude. That I just, whew, that song does it to me every time.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. You spoke well first. Okay, so first I want to go back Grambling State University and talk to us about the time when you performed at that show that was kind of like their version of Showtime at the Apollo. Walk us through
Right.
that experience for you and how that really impacted you.
So that performing at Grambling is they're notorious. I mean, notorious for booing people. So it doesn't matter who you are. I've literally seen them boo famous people, like, and they would just lead a stage. Hell, Charlie Murphy, they
Mhm.
booed him. You go to YouTube, you'll see it. Like they're just cutthroat. Man, Gremlins are just a different beast when it comes to like what they consider talent. Or talentless. But um, yeah, man, I got up there, I did it, and actually, the girl who set me up for the talent show, or signed me up rather, she passed away the day of the talent show
Oh no.
in her dorm room. I wasn't even gonna
Mm-hmm.
do the talent show, but she was just like, "Come on, you gotta sing. You always singing in the cafeteria. You always singing. I hear you coming from baseball practice and you sing." I said, "Listen, I, I know I sing a lot, but I don't want to do the talent show. I'm not about to get booed." She's like,
Mm-hmm.
"There's no way in hell you would get booed." I'm like, "Listen, I've seen people who can blow, get up on that stage, and they didn't come off successful." So I mean, I didn't want to do it for that very reason. But then when she passed, um, now I had already auditioned and they already accepted me into the talent show, but I didn't want to do it and I wasn't gonna do it. But when Maisha passed away, I said, you know what? I'm gonna dedicate it to her. And yeah, it was just, and they talk about it today. It was in the Grambling newspaper. John Brown was by far the best artist that we've ever seen on Grambling stage in terms of students,
Mm-hmm.
in terms of overall performance, in terms of overall reaction. Like everyone in that auditorium was on their feet. Everyone, from the thugs to because I'm telling you, we get some rough people
Yes.
from New Orleans. Not to say everyone from New Orleans is like that, but I'm saying we get them from Baton Rouge, we get them from all over. But I'm just saying, like, there's a lot of street people at Grambling. Smart, but street,
Yeah.
and even the guys, they were all on their feet, like, man, you killed that, man. I saw the girls crying in the audience. I'm like, what? But I saw it myself. They were literally, the girls were on their knees crying. So
Okay.
that was that defining moment.
I
Yeah.
love it. So this is one of my questions right here, that I'm gonna put in the chat for. It's like, what did you sing? Thank you, Lofo, for asking this question. What did you sing at the talent show?
I sang, well, no. So I dedicated one of my Aisha's favorite songs, which was "Don't Change" by Music Soul Child. I did
Ooh.
a medley. That was the first one that I did.
Okay.
And then from there, after that, I did all Tank songs. So
Okay.
I did Maybe I Deserve, um, God, I even mentioned this to Tank. I can't even think of the songs right now. Maybe
Mm-hmm.
I Deserve. What's another one? His old school
So maybe
popular
I
one.
deserve. I'm thinking of his first album. Maybe I deserve is like the one I remember. When we, but that's still more recent.
No, that's
Uh,
recently.
um.
Maybe I Deserve. Not it was that
Well,
one. It was I can't
let's
remember, but it was a few of Tank songs.
right, right. Let's talk more about the Tank songs because I have a feeling. I have an opinion. Maybe I deserve. It's like that's like a classic. Like that's a song that will be played 30 years from now. Will still go off.
Yeah, man.
What do you think about that song, and why did that? Why has that song been so successful for so long?
It's just impactful because for me, it's relatable, and a lot of guys fail to realize that. Like, if you had to take I don't know, do a poll of the amount of guys who messed around, screwed up great relationships, screwed up with great women, I would almost say on a scale from 1 to 10, 10 out of 10, people would agree with you. Like, guys, we know we screw up. Not all
Mm-hmm.
of us, but there's a higher percentage, than.
Right.
So, I think it was just one of those songs, man, that guys just had to just make an honest, you know, have an honest realization of the fact that we mess up, and sometimes we don't like to realize that we messed up with good people.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like when the tables are turned, and we want to give this crazy reaction. It's like, well, wait a minute, you didn't treat her right, so you did deserve this. You did deserve that. Just admit to it, move on, and then all is well. Maybe not with that woman, but
Right.
maybe in future relationships, But so it was just a relatable song, man. Timeless record, in my opinion.
Yeah, I agree. I agree 100%. Tell us about the first time you heard one of your songs on the radio. When was it, and how did that make you feel?
That was 2009. Song by the name of "I'ma Love You Right," which is still a good song in my opinion. I love the song. That right there got me my second major deal, and I was where was I at? I was at a stoplight. I was at a
Oh,
stoplight, and I
okay.
literally just got the phone with my mom, and talk about timing in God. I'm a firm believer in Christ. You know, this girl apparently she's heard it quite a few times. She was in the car. just bumping her head and I'm gonna love you, right? I was like, huh? Is that my record? And I knew it was played. I knew it was on the radio, but I never heard it.
Right.
So that was my first time hearing it on the radio through someone else's car at a stoplight.
Oh, that's
True
amazing.
story. Yeah.
I love it.
The timing was so crazy, bro. I mean, weird. But
Hmm.
yeah, it was meant to be.
It was. And so here you are, 13, maybe 14 years later, and
Yeah.
still at it. What was it like working with Tank? How was that for you? I sure it had to be amazing. So talk to us about that.
Yeah. So the first time I worked with him was 13 years ago, 14 years
Okay.
ago.
Hmm.
And that was when I was signed with Universal Records, and which I'm back with them now. But that was Universal Republic. Um, they um, they knew I was like a huge Tank fan. Everyone knows that since the age of 12, 11. Anyone who knows me, they know. Like, man, he's a massive Tank fanatic. So I explained that to them because when you go through the process of getting signed, they ask certain questions. Who's your favorite artist? Blah 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 blah. And I just kept saying Tank, Tank. They said, you don't have anyone else? I said, nah. Well, I like Babyface, and I gave you the list I gave you. And I said, but Tank.
Hmm.
And so the lady who I told that to, I can't remember her name. She worked for the label. She set me up. They would always fly me out to pair me with different producers and stuff. And this one time I flew out to LA. I was waiting there for almost an hour. I'm like, man, where the hell is this producer at? Like I'm literally, dude. I'm in the waiting area. I'm knocked out because no one showed up. I wake up. Guess who's warming up popcorn? Steve Urkel. I'm like, what the
Okay.
hell is he doing here? It was just random.
Right.
So when I woke up, I hear somebody singing coming up the steps. I'm like, who the hell is that? I'm like, man, that dude can sing. And I kept listening. And I'm like, because in LA, you'll run across some of everybody at certain studios, but I wasn't familiar with that. It just wasn't something that I ran across on a regular basis. But anyway, he walked up the steps. He's like, I'm here for John Brown. Who the hell is this John Brown cat? Like he was just being. That's just who Tank is. He's silly.
Hmm.
I'm like, well, I'm that John Brown cat. And he was like, well, bring your ass on. Let's get in the studio. And he was ever since then, we just clicked. Yeah, he was just
Nice.
funny, man. Funny guy, personable guy. There's no way in hell no one wouldn't like him. He's just a good dude.
Yeah. What is it about Tank's like habits that have allowed him to be successful for so long in such a competitive industry?
His habits. That's a broad question.
Well, you can answer it however, what is it? Or maybe answer like,
I mean,
what have you learned from him?
musically,
Yeah.
okay, that he's consistent and he's sure of himself. When you see him on stage, there isn't any hesitancies, no type of doubt. He's like like me. I'm a manly man. I consider myself a manly man. The last time I seen someone who was a manly man, who was super silly, was my father. Tank is like that, like all in one. Like you gonna get funny, you gonna get spiritual, you gonna get aggressive on stage in a good sense. He's just man. I can't say enough. Like this dude was a man. It's you got to meet him to know what I'm talking about, man.
Right,
It's
right,
a
right.
different kind of spirit, man. Like I've been around so many quote unquote famous people, and Tank is by far the most humble, the most sure of himself, man. The most giving, the most understanding, the most patient. It's just his overall character, man. He's just a straight up, well rounded, likable dude. And yeah, man, hopefully I answered your question.
It did. No, no, it did. It did. That's great. Now you first started working with Tank in like 2009. Now you work with him again this year, 2022. What, like, how was it different working with him this time than the first time?
There was no difference. It was the same thing. It was almost like
Nice.
we never skipped a beat, man. The same dude, same temperament, nothing changed.
I
And
love
that's
it.
a rarity, man. You rarely see stuff like that because even with his success, he's still the same guy.
Right.
Yeah.
You also do a lot of songwriting. Talk to us about like your process. How do you write like lyrics? What's your process for writing songs and getting them like on paper and into the studio?
So my overall process is just prayer. I always try to pray or remember to pray before I start recording. And then from that point, I have to like make sure I'm surrounded by good energy. So if someone's in the studio, and I'll quickly judge whatever it is going. Like for me, like I've had several people try to come inside the studio whenever I record it. Like, oh man, can I come in and chill? And it's like, nah, you were just talking about a fight you just got into 5 seconds ago. I don't want that energy in my session, man. Like, he'll go on and talking about the fight, and then that'll turn into like some chain reaction, and it shifts the energy. So for me, I just have to be comfortable energetically. Everything has to be sound, um, and just overall some vine licorice, red vine.
Yes, yes, I love it. I love it.
Yeah, yeah, maybe a little edible or two. I'm just saying. I mean, I'm just keeping an eye on it.
Respect. Yeah,
Yeah,
respect.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, it is what it is. It is what it is. But and that's it. From there, I'm just freestyle. I don't write down anything. I get behind the mic and I go. That's it.
Oh, okay. So you don't like sit. You don't have like a notebook full of like songs and things. You just
I
sing.
can. Yeah, it'll throw everything off, man. If I were to, it's like I'm focusing too much. So for me, it's all about having fun. So if I'm sitting there writing and jotting down every last thing that rhymes, every last experience I encountered, it'll just
Mm.
completely like shatter everything. So I have to just get behind the mic, go off the vibe, which is the music, the energy in the room, and from there, things should start to kind of like, form, so to speak.
Okay.
Thoughts of experiences and things in that nature.
What year was it when you signed your first record deal? Was that '06 or '07? You signed your first record deal?
My first record deal was 2002. That was with Wyclef John,
Okay. So
J
'02.
Records.
Okay. So you've been in the game now for over 20 years. How have you been able to still maintain and continue to ascend after 20 years when traditionally people don't last in the record industry longer than 3 or 4 years?
Well, there was a lot of stopping and starting. So we have these fluctuating points, which we all do. So for
Mm-hmm.
me, I'm gonna be honest, man. Like after my last record deal ended, I told myself, "Nah, I'm cool. I'm gonna focus on the medical field," which that's what I was doing. And then from there, my manager hit me back up. Fast forward, he's like, "Man, you want to get back in the studio?" I'm like, "Nah, I'm cool. Nah, I don't want to go back down that path. I've had a lot of record deals. I've experienced that life. I'm straight." And then with this new industry, it's geared towards the rappers now. When it comes to singers, they're like, we were kind of pushed on the back burner, but we're coming back.
I love. We're gonna talk about
So
that. Keep going.
we're
Yes.
coming back, but we're making a comeback. But so I just walked out on faith again. Went to the studio, cold New York. I recorded one song. 2 weeks after that, it was on the radio, top 10 Billboard chart record, Sunrise Sunset. So
Wow.
it's been a process, man. Like a lot of records, like I said, man, a lot of different experiences, good, good and bad. But I'm still standing, so it must be my calling, I guess.
Yeah. Yeah. If you could go back to when you first started, say right before you signed the first deal in 2002, and give yourself advice based on what you know now, what advice would you give a younger Jay Brown?
Surround yourself with the right people. Yeah, that's it.
Mm.
Everything else I can handle, because I'm experienced in that lane. But being experienced, sometimes sometimes a lot of artists they have to work with certain people or deal with certain things based on them trying to get somewhere. But way in the past, I've had some really, really, really bad situations. But I'm still dealing with my manager. I'm glad I still have him. That's cool. We're still rocking. But even before we even got together, like I've had a lot of hurdles, man, and I'm still standing. So,
Yeah.
you
Yes, you
know,
are.
yeah,
How did you remain resilient and get through those hurdles?
prayer, prayer, consistency, believing in myself, and like I said, just surrounding myself with the right people. You know, I'm very when it comes to my energy, I'm extremely protective of that. So I don't care
Yeah,
who you are, what you're about, and what you can offer me. If I don't get good vibes from you, peace.
I love it. Next question would be like you spoke about this new music industry. What's like your definition of the new music industry?
Well, we're in the streaming game now. I mean, radio obviously is still a key factor in this industry. But you know, with the internet now, it's changed the game. You know, with things going viral, record labels look for that now, majority of the time. And so you have people who can just jump off a roof somewhere and go viral. Next thing you know, they're starting some crazy song attached to that crazy jump, and boom, you got a record deal. You attach the two, and it's like, okay, well, people care to see something that he's doing, and now he's doing music. Let's put it all together and give this guy $20 million. That's how it goes now, man. It's all about going viral. That's all it's about.
Hmm.
That's it. Sadly, in some
Yeah,
cases, well,
right.
in a lot of cases, but yeah, it's a
And
different
then
issue, man.
you also, so just to give you a little like context, so I teach music business at Cal State University Fullerton. So I have a lot of students that want to get into the industry. That's kind of why I'm asking some of
Nice.
these questions, because they want to get in, they want to be agents, A&R, they want to sing, and I always try to give them the business side, like talk about mechanical royalties, streaming royalties,
Oh
360
man.
deals, like all that. What do you feel like? What are some things that you're still trying to learn or have learned about the music industry recently that really kind of surprised you? Like, what's something that's kind of surprised you that you learned about the industry recently?
Um, there hasn't been anything that's really been surprising because a lot of stuff I already knew. I
Hmm.
think right now it's just more so about reprogramming certain things, like because the
Uh,
way things have changed. It's like, okay, well, I can't do this that way because now if I don't do this, then that won't even work. So it's kind of like just making sure you strategically, like for me, like I said, I know about mechanical work, I know about all that stuff. So for people who aren't aware of, you know, the definition of these things that you listed, I would strongly suggest you research because the best way to fool someone is to throw something in a contract. You
mm,
know, that's the best way because people don't read, and if they read, they aren't thoroughly reading. Uh, I think it's at this point in the industry, you have to know everything, everything, because labels have figured out a way to make a lot of money now off you. They've been doing it in the past, but as it relates to like streaming and all these other things, man, there's so many different avenues to make money off from artists right now. And a lot of artists don't know about this. So I would just say, and I can't really go into too much detail, but just in my honest opinion, for all the aspiring whatevers, A&R singers, writers, just make sure you do your research because we're living in a new game right now in the industry. And it's called the music business for a reason, mainly business, more so than music. So just make sure everything is intact, because there's a lot of trickery going on, a lot. So
yeah,
don't get caught between the bull crap, man. The glimpse and glamour isn't what it always, seems. So business first, because 360 deals can wipe you out, man.
yeah.
Can wipe you
Thank you
out
for
like
sharing
that.
that. And thank you for being
Yeah.
honest. Appreciate that because people need to know. So I really appreciate you saying that. Um,
Independency. That's the thing. The independent lane is the way to go. If you want to be self sufficient, invest in yourself. That's how I did it straight up. Like me getting back into the industry, that was my primary aim. I'm just going to do it on my own. And then if people come my way and we make enough attention, then boom. Of course, things are working in my favor. But when it comes to record labels, you need them in their minds. They don't need you. There's a million of yous out there. So what makes you different? Well, I'm gonna tell you what makes me different. I've done this on my own. I've done that on my own. Therefore, you need me. And if you don't need me, I'm gonna go elsewhere. So if they're a smart label, they'll keep you. But you have to establish something on your own prior to signing. Otherwise, you'll get those 360 deals because in their minds, we don't need you. You need us. So to kind of sum it up, I mean, hopefully that kind of gave you a little insight as to how
that give a
truly
great.
things can be.
We'll give you some applause for that too. There. So absolutely.
Yeah.
Next question is the state of R&B music. You said it's coming back. Why did it fade, and now how is it coming back?
It faded based on time. Time. That's how that and you say, well, why time? Well, because we're living in a different era right now. A lot of kids, they care nothing about what you and I grew up on. And you may be older than me, but still, I'm sure we grew up on the same type of music in a
Mhm.
sense. You know, nowadays kids. I'm not saying it to talk about the kids because, like I said, we're living in a different time. So kids more so care about having fun. They care about those club type beats, things that make them move. Versus the slower records that we once cared about, which I still care about. But to them, this is old school. This makes me sleepy. Makes me not feel good. Makes me depressed. Makes me want to fall in love. They don't want to fall in love. They want to party. They want to do drugs. At least for the people who want to do drugs back in the day, we still love this good music, while doing some drugs. Not me, but you know what I'm saying, bro. People back in
Yes.
the day, they got high as kites, but they still put out music that was near and dear to their hearts. Music that made sense. Nowadays, it's just like, I want some quick rush, and that's all it's about. So
Mhm.
that's why people have overlooked singers now. People who still put out great music, but it just goes unnoticed because the industry is just saturated with a bunch of, I don't want to say that, horrible music. Screw it. Not everything, but you know what I'm saying, man. You listen to some of
Yeah.
these songs, you're like, man, how did this dude get on? And it's no hate, man. It's no hate.
Right.
I'm telling you, it doesn't come from a place of hate. I respect the hustle. The music industry, the powers that be, they know the hustle. So, and these rappers do too. Like, it's just a demand right now for rappers. It's just they want
Uh-huh.
them because these kids love them. Singers is just like, whatever. So we got to
Yeah.
keep making enough noise, and so we can change the game a little bit. Rearrange the table. Which
Right.
is happening because we have enough people right now that are making some noise. So things are changing slowly but surely.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm trying to make noise with you, which leads me to another question. So I'm writing my second book, and the topic is why there are no longer any Black R&B groups on the Billboard Top 20 since 2004.
Ooh,
So when
come on now,
so
Doc. You preaching now. You
so
preaching now.
I would ask you if you have
Mm,
anything extra to say about that question.
damn, that's deep, bro.
Hmm. And I
You
can
know
go
what's
back and show.
crazy?
I can show you the history and everything. Go ahead, tell us.
No, I believe the history behind it. I just didn't know the exact year. You
Hmm.
know, uh, so when I was signed to Wyclef, one of my close friends, he and we were signed to Wyclef together. He got involved in a group called Day 26.
Yes.
I auditioned for Day 26. I made it all the way to New York. When I saw that contract, I said, screw you. I'm not signing this shit. My boy said, well, man, I'm going. He was the best singer in the group. I'm not, hands down. Group's phenomenal group, but he was the lead, if you want to be honest. I would have thought that they would have given him some special whatevers. They didn't, man. I would say that group, all the group members, they got the worst deal in the world. And I hate to say that, man, because they were all so talented.
Hmm.
Nothing against Puffy, but that was like the last group that I can think of that did anything. And I want to say it might have been 2006,
Hmm.
2007. I think that was like the release of I think that was their only album. Did they release two albums? But anyway, it
Maybe.
was a
Yeah.
maybe they released two. But it was around that time that you mentioned. I don't know if that's the group you're referring to, but I know in my mind that was the last male group that was actually doing something significant in
Yeah.
the industry.
I think when
So,
I go back and look at the chart, you'll see like Destiny's Child. As soon as Beyonce went solo for good,
oh man,
that's when it kind of fell off. Because then you had Destiny's Child fading, Jagged Edge fading, 112 fading, and they kind of and Drew Hill when Cisco went with that's kind of when it all kind of stopped. You would have anomalies here and there, but it's shocking when you go from like 1960, 70, 80s,
oh yeah,
90s. You look at
all
the history
groups.
and then you see just a quick drop. It's like, wow, what happened? And the next question is, do you feel groups can come back, specifically Black groups can come back to the way it was when like a Boyz II Men was at their heyday, SWV, In Vogue, Jodeci? What do you think?
Honestly, I think it could happen. I think it's just gonna take the right people. Nowadays, people are selfish, man. They want the spotlight. No one cares to be, in this situation where someone else is their Beyonce or their Michael Jackson, because he was the front runner of the Jackson Five, which they all had their success, of course,
Mm-hmm.
individual success. But I think it all comes down to egos, man. Because I too was in a group. we didn't blow up, but we had a few record deals, you know. So
Mhm.
it comes down to egos, man. I think the industry may still receive it the right way. It's
Mhm.
just about putting the right people together. And nowadays, people just don't stay together long, man. Like
Yeah.
you see all the old groups getting back together to tour, but ones that were really like popular back in like 112. Man, I don't even recognize all the members now, man. There's only one main member that I remember,
Right.
which is Slim.
Right.
Everyone else, they've all kind of fell off and did their own things. Jagged Edge, they're still together, they're still touring. But New Edition, they've all, kind of regrouped things and put it out there on the table, and they came back
Yeah.
to a place of making money. But I can't think of anyone else, man. I don't know. It's
No.
kind of
Yeah.
weird.
Like it's funny because you look at the groups like the Isley Brothers. They've crossed over, I want to say 5 or 6 decades, and they can still draw and they can still chart, but not tall live. But besides them, like it's shocking the drop off. So that's kind of the topic of the book. So I wanted to ask you about
That
that.
was a good question, man. I never really thought about that.
Yeah,
Man.
yeah. Like I'm working on. So once it's released, I'll be sure to share it with you. Now we kind of talk to like current day. What was the inspiration for your song "Simpin'," which I like? I always tease my fiance about I don't want to be no simp, but still, like, what was the inspiration
Well,
behind that song?
because I invested. I mean, oh my God, I invested so much time into a woman that, not to say it wasn't reciprocated, but it was just a waste of my time. Like I'm investing all this effort into someone. Like, does she really like me? Okay, she's giving me the impression that she likes me, but excuse me, it's not being received in the way that would make me or convince me that this is something that may potentially turn to something long term. It was just more so like, we'll go out, we'll do certain things, like we're leading into the direction of potentially becoming a couple, only to find out she's back to doing something else. And then she'll come back like, oh, but I miss you. I'm like, man, and I fall for it. Like, I'm really simping. Like, what is like, so I think that kind of, yeah, man, that's a harsh reality right there. But yeah, that experience right there, I think that was like my definition. I lived
Yeah.
it. So
So it's easy to write about, easy to sing about.
pretty much, pretty much. By the way, y'all can go get that. That is available if you guys are still with us. That's available on all downloadable platforms. So please download it. It is entitled Simping.
Simping. Yeah, we played the video. Um, what do we have to look forward to? And like, I know, are you still planning on releasing an album like late 2022? Kind of, what are your thoughts on the album? And what kind of music will we be able to enjoy on that
Yeah,
album?
yeah. The album would drop a day before my birthday, May 20th. And it is
Nice.
entitled Chapter and Verse. Um, yeah, that's gonna be a great one. My new single featuring Tank, "Don't
Yes.
Rush," that's out right now. It's doing really well. It's actually the number 21. Yes, the number 21 song in the country on Billboard right now. So it's only been
Hmm.
out a week and a half in radio,
Yeah.
2 weeks.
Yeah.
So it's climbing, and we're shooting a video for that in a few weeks. I'm going on tours and have a lot of shows planned and just grinding, man.
Yeah.
Just grinding.
I love it. Yeah. Tell the people another fun fact about Jay Brown is you know how to sing R&B music in Mandarin. How did you learn this skill? How did you learn how to do that?
How'd you find that? Oh, you must have read a bio.
I've been doing my research. I've been doing my research.
Yeah. No, a lot of people seem to bypass that. Like, I'm like, man, why? I'm surprised no one ever really brought that up. Like, people
Mhm.
will here and there, people who read, but thank you for reading. No,
You're welcome.
so that started. I lived in China for say approximately maybe a year and a half, a little more than that, and so I had a girlfriend there who happened to be Chinese, and I was free. Like, so my shows were like every night, like around 10 o'clock at night. So all throughout the morning, the afternoon, I had all this free time, and I always like to educate myself. So I told her, I said, you know what? How about you teach me Mandarin? She's like, well, of course I'll do it. She was happy to do it, and we were dating, so it was like, why not? And it was not only her mother as well.
Mm, mm.
So yeah, I would say for maybe, I mean, we would stop, but I would say for maybe a good 3 to 4 hours a day. they would teach me. And then
Nice.
me being able to sing in Mandarin, it just helped. So it was because at first I didn't know how to speak. I was just more so, learning here,
Yeah.
little words here and there. But yeah, I can definitely sing in Mandarin, so that's cool.
So before I ask you next one, we got two birthdays in the house. So Sherry Soothe and Songbird. So happy birthday to you both. Appreciate that.
Happy
You able to
birthday.
you able to drop maybe a quick little verse, not a verse, like a couple lines in Mandarin for us real quick, just so we can hear what it sounds like since we're curious and we asked about.
Oh man, do we have people actually listening to this right now?
Yeah, they're here. They're live. People in the chat listening. We got like Phillips and Vito's here, Sherry's here, Diva
Oh
nine two
man,
nine,
Phil,
Alex. We got a nice little crowd here.
cool. All right, let me see. God, man, I wasn't trying to sing nothing, bro.
You don't have to. It was just, it's
No,
just
no,
we
it's
try to
cool.
be
It's cool. It's cool.
spontaneous. We try to be
It's cool. It's cool.
spontaneous.
Um,
Dane is here. I see you, Dane.
let me
DJ Thunder.
see. All right. You ready?
Yeah.
你存在我深深的脑海里，我的梦里，我的想里，我的歌声里，没有一点点防备，没有一点丝的路，你就这样出现，从我的手机里带动我心情，谁不在意？Can you want more?
Let me we love it in the chat.
Oh,
You can
well,
go.
there we go. That's it. That's it. There we go.
We give some applause for that. That's dope. Yes. Amazing. Thank you. Do you want to translate what you say to us, or do we have to Google
Oh,
it?
you're saying, me, I like basically you're in my heart, I mean, you're so I love you like the wind. I need you. I want you. Why have you left me? When are you coming back? That's to sum it up. Yeah.
Okay, amazing. Thank you for those bits, queued up entertainment. All right, let me see what else. So really, just to kind of close off the interview and finish is like future collaborations. I know you talked about like Ari Lennox, Summer Walker, Lucky Day, The Weeknd. Those are some of your favorite kind of artists that are out now. Who's on your list to like collaborate with next? Now that you've kind of worked with Tank and others, like who's kind of next on that bucket list?
Bucket list, that would probably be like Teddy Riley, which I kind of did already work with him. So my single that's coming after these singles, which Tank produced, it's called Let's Chill.
Mm-hmm.
So you remember the record, Just Chill, Let's Settle Down, or whatever.
Yeah.
You know
From
how the
the
record goes.
first time. I'm not
From
gonna sing
God.
because you're here, so I'm not gonna disrespect it. But
Oh
yes,
no,
from
I
the
heard
first
you,
time.
man. I heard you. I hear it, man. You got the vocals, bro. Stop keeping it from us, man. Come on. You got them. I hear it, man. No, that's where it kind of came from. So, but Babyface, that's my goal. Babyface.
Yeah,
Like once I work with him, then it's like
you're done. You're good.
I mean that go with music, but it's like all right,
Right.
that's my thing. Babyface.
Yeah, I would love just how I was asking you the questions about the Black R&B groups. I loved as Babyface to have a conversation about it because he would know. So I can't wait to get
Mm-hmm.
that opportunity for sure. Um,
Oh yeah, you will.
any last kind of things you want to share with the chat? Any maybe things you wanted to share with us that we didn't talk about? I just want to kind of give you the platform, and then maybe I always love to ask. Well, I'll ask you that first, and I have one final question.
Cool.
So, like anything like that we didn't cover that you want to share? We talked about your upcoming album. We talked about getting your albums on the streaming platforms. We talked about that. Really, would be like I would curious to hear your advice for people who maybe have gotten stuck in the industry. Like maybe they've hit a plateau and they can't get to where they want to get to the industry. What advice would you have for people like that?
Well, first and foremost, I'm gonna come back to that question,
Mm-hmm.
but and I hate to be redundant, but I know we stated this, everyone, but please download my single "Simpin," my new single "Simpin," and my new single "Don't Rush," available on all downloadable platforms. And so don't say I don't have an iPhone. Well, we have it on the Androids too. So please download it. Subscribe to
Yes.
my YouTube channel, Music by Jay
Yes.
Brown. That would be greatly appreciated. And be on the lookout for my new album, May 20th, entitled Chapter and Verse. Now, in terms of your question,
Yes.
I honestly would say for all the aspiring whatevers, you may get 1,000 no's before you receive one yes. I am a living witness of it. Perseverance is a mother, and you have to truly believe in yourself. I mean, truly, without any doubt. Because the moment you start to doubt yourself, that's when things start to crumble. So if you really want something, if you really determine out of life, and I know it may sound cliche, but you know, you gotta believe in yourself, man. You have to. There's no way around it. You know, and like I mentioned, I'm not gonna promise you there won't be hurdles because you will have hurdles. But it's up to you to make a conscious effort to continue on, like myself. I'm a living witness, you know, just like anyone else out there who's pursuing anything. I mean, I'm sure you guys have had a few hurdles yourself, but again, it's just perseverance. That's what it all comes down to. Just keep believing, keep yourself surrounded with positive people, and find different outlets, to take care of yourself mentally. Sometimes things become so overwhelming, we don't know what to do. You better get to the gym, you better take up some cycling classes, practice juggling. I don't care what it is, but take some time out to focus on you.
Yeah.
We don't want to always focus on what we're trying to accomplish. You got to still take care of yourself. So
Yeah.
just create this balance, man. But just keep going. Don't stop. Do not
Amen.
stop.
Yeah. You said, do something else. Also, we have some questions on this, but talk to us really quick. Like, how has meditation changed your life?
All right, who told you I meditate?
We did some research. We did some research. We wanted to be
Man,
prepared for
who
the
you working
interview.
for, brother? Who you working for, man? You trying to give me Vlad TV vibes, man. I'm joking.
Oh, thank you. That's a compliment. That's a big compliment.
No, meditation, I try to take 20 to 30 minutes to meditate every day. And I'm gonna tell you right now, I don't know if you guys have memberships, but for me, this is I find this is quite effective. So when I work out a lot. So when I go to the gym, I get in that sauna, I get into the steam room, and I meditate in there. It's just something therapeutic about it. You don't need that, of course, because you can just become one with the earth. You go outside and do your thing. But meditation, it just helps build what needs to be restored in my personal life. It helps me pull things together. So I would highly recommend meditating. 20 to 30 minutes if you can.
Yeah,
You know.
yeah. Excellent question. So a couple of questions came up here. What is the best? Well, Chrissy, with this question, let me know what you mean when you say what is the best for charts or the artists themselves. So let us know what you think about that. And then I want to ask you this one: is there a preferred platform to download music? Like, do you want it to be like through iTunes or Apple Music or Amazon, or does it not matter?
Is she just asking a general question, or is she?
Mhm. I think she's asking a general
Well,
question. She'll.
there. Mm, no, I mean, I would say they all make a lot of sense. It all equates to money and
Mhm.
getting to the ultimate goal. So I would say Spotify, Tidal, Amazon Music, Apple Music, SoundCloud, YouTube Music. Those are Pandora, the main ones.
Got it.
Which, by the way,
Um,
I'm on all of those.
Yes, yes. We're gonna put the links up. We're gonna share the links and everything. Okay, good. So she was. I think you answered them right then. So she was clarifying. So that's good. Um, I think we're good. Like, thank you very much for appearing, taking time. Almost 15 minutes out of your day.
Man,
We
thank
appreciate
you,
it.
bro.
We're fans. We're gonna support you. We're gonna play your music. As you see, we play the Simpin video. I do a love song, slow jam set every Sunday night. So I'm gonna add another night. So I'm all about the R&B music. I wanted to come back. That's why I'm promoting it and playing it. And we just want to continue to support you as you keep ascending.
Dope, man. Hey, listen, man, and I'll support you in any way you need. Just let me know. Um, and follow me, man. If you aren't following me already, follow me on Instagram at J Brown Music Only. I
Got
will
it.
follow you back. I communicate with everyone on there. I'm supportive. I don't just want people to follow me to support me. I follow
Right.
you to support you as well. So if you got something
Thank you.
going on, you let me
Yeah.
know. I throw it up and promote it. I'm not asking for any money. It's all about helping people, man. Whatever happened to
Yeah.
those days? shit, that's another conversation.
That's another. We'll come. We'll invite you back for that.
So, and of course, I will. Hey, I'll be here.
All right.